open, and we are about to get underway with the picks and bans. And Kale is first ban champion.
Well, she's been very popular, especially with the Polish teams here. Meet Your Makers that first picked her almost all of the time there. You know, Kale is just one of those champions that has been very, very, very powerful. Mid King has an amazing mid lane roster. He's got a great rise, a lot of just, actually generally plays AP for the most part, but again, he is a scary man, and one of the things you can actually do in Champion Select is actually sort of focus ban a role if your lane of that sort of same role has a deeper champion pool, because you can kind of play whatever you want and just get whatever's left over.
Still see common bans coming out here, the Twisted Fate and Nivea, not so common. Those are definitely going to be pointed at somebody on the team, like you said, Freak, that mid king. Kale getting banned out, so that Wukong composition as well as the mid Kale is going to be out of the game.
And actually looking,
or even jungle.
Yeah, and the Shen ban is really interesting because you look back at LG versus Zulu Blaze actually, and the only times really Shen went through was when they looked to first pick it. You look back at like Blaze's bans, and they had banned him over and over, and then said, oh, we're blue team, we'll let it go through, first pick that, and then built themselves around Shen. LGIM are not going to build themselves around split push here. They're looking for something a bit more special.
Well, looks like history has changed unless he's not picked here. 100% picked or banned. Olaf is now through as Kha'Zix gets taken out, and what I thought was going to be Olaf becomes an Ezreal ban. Not even a Misfortune because she's picked first.
Misfortune, definitely a huge champion to put out here. And that opens up a lot of opportunities. LGIM have run a move before. I like Ring more on Lee Sin. Again, I'll just say it over and over. You give him Lee Sin, and he's going to do crazy things. But you're given a lot of opportunities available now to Nexus. They've got a lot. Pretty much everything is available to them here.
Freak, I feel like when you ban Ezreal like that, you say, go ahead and pick MF.
Yes, exactly. Those are kind of the top two most hotly contested champions. Here, I'd almost expect Olaf to come in because once you have ditched Ezreal, you say, I bait you to pick Misfortune, right? Misfortune, Olaf, Amumu, all three really, really big important champions. Interesting. So this is right now an AoE team so far, because normally when you pick Zyra, it's a disengage to beat up assassin teams, but here they've got a Mumu Zyra, which is, we're going to go in, pop Mumu ult, follow up with Zyra ult, and kill you over those 3 seconds where you're locked down.
Okay, so do I pick out Olaf? So far, Amumu and Misfortune, both 100% picked or banned. That's continued. Olaf's the last one.
Olaf would be a great pick here because of that Curse of the Sad Mummy, because of the crowd control they're going to have to work with in this fight against the Nexus.
Exactly. I would really like to see Olaf here. I would be very surprised to not see him come through, unless LG are looking, IEM are looking for something really, really special here that's also hotly contested. Actually, it's interesting. They're really saving their cards here. They apparently are not respecting Olaf here. I'm guessing that they think there's a lane here that can beat it. I mean, unless they really think that's mid Zyra and they're trying to steal away supports. They're just not looking for Olaf that early.
Quite confusing on the picks and bans. I'm really excited to see what these guys come up with. It looks like a Nexus definitely has something in mind. And LG looks to be picking comfort champions, as we said. MF being used a lot in Korea past days, or the past weeks, months. Ring, that Lee Sin that Freak keeps talking to. And now the Sona poke for that bottom lane is safe. Oh my gosh, so they're not going to be able to get to anybody in this.
This just became an incredibly interesting matchup because the Nexus has so many aces in the hole here. They've got an area of effect team that is ridiculously good.
Oh my goodness.
It was Zyra, Amumu, Karthus. And then they've got Urgot to just break things apart whenever something goes wrong. LGIM looking right now at Rumble Jace, I like a heck of a lot because now you've got a really crazy team. Rumble and Misfortune together are going to bring down a lot of area of effect that is going to be Ring playing Jungle Lee Sin, which, guys, just watch it. It's going to be hilarious. You've got Sona, of course, to crowd control that to make sure those spells land. And then if it all goes down, you've got a poke. You've got a lot of poke there. You've got Rumble and Jace who can just kind of keep clinging you with abilities. LGIM have an amazingly well-rounded lineup.
And wow, the Olaf doesn't even stay in the game. They are going to go for Aurelia on that last pick. Despite the scaling differences she now has in the game, 50 seconds for these guys to switch around.
Aurelia is much better against Rumble. If she fights heads up, Olaf does not have tools to deal with Rumble. He will just take damage in that lane and have a really bad time. And if he ever trades, he stops Rumble from lane pushing. Right? Like when in 1v1s, you don't want to push really hard. Rumble has to by dealing damage. Olaf, if he ever trades at all, is going to undertow minions and stop the lane push. Aurelia can dive in, stun, get behind the Flame Spitter, and just destroy him with E10 style.
Okay, so picks and bans are over. Olaf is finally not a 100% picked or banned. Misfortune and Amumu continue that trend though. as expected, and some very interesting lineups between these two teams. I have to ask you before we send it over to the commentary team, Riv, where's your money?
I'm going to have to go for the AoE team. I've always liked AoE comps. Not that it's the team in general. Anexis, just the comp. I really like it.
For me, it's LGIM. It's Ring Nuna playing Lee Sin. You can't. you got to give it to him, man. The only 2 games he won against Blaze is because he had Lee Sin jungle. When next time they had Lee Sin, they gave it to a Lilac. He was top lane. He wasn't ring troll. They lost that one. So you got Ring and Lee Sin. You got a really, really well-rounded team. I like Incredible Miracle.
Okay. Well, the Koreans are the heavy favourites, not only in this game, but also in the Group B. They have Millennium and MYM waiting for them in the semi-final already. The winner of this group will play MYM. So big bonus for the team that wants to go through in first place in this particular one to avoid Millennium, who were on fire yesterday. They will be playing the second place team. So here we go then. Game number 2 is about to begin. It's LGIM versus Anexis.
Thanks a lot, guys. I'm here with Jason Kaplan, and we're going to bring you this game, which I'm really excited for, Jason. As Freak mentioned about 4,000 times, Ring's Lee Sin is pretty formidable. My only concern is the ping. On the other hand, how much did Ring used to play on the NA server when the ping, I guess, would have been around the same?
Yeah, touche, Joe. I mean, it's going to be hard to land those Qs, which are really the key point to Lee Sin, letting that Sonic Wave, then to get in there, get the slow. And then not to mention, yesterday when we did see Lee Sin, we saw actually a really nice combo where they Sonic Waved in. He actually flashed knowing that he would hit it and kicked him back into their team. But we'll see how it works out. But they are running the Rumble Jace combo, which, and as they proved against Azubu Blaze, is just really devastating.
So LGIM maybe on their most comfortable lineup here for this one. We'll see how their opponents Anexis can really do against this one. I mean, Jason, in my opinion, LGIM are massive favourites in this. I mean, they're only fighting against Anexis.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one thing is that you have the Urgot. I mean, we were looking at that and mentioning...
You totally didn't get the joke,
No, I didn't.
Never mind. They're only fighting against Anexis.
Your puns are bad and you should feel bad, Joe.
I got it off you.
Yeah, he did. So the Urgot, he's not paired with a Taric. He has that armor pen, that flat armor pen was 17 at the moment with the 8% from obviously Masteries, but without that Taric shredding the armor away, it really becomes harder to kill the AD carry. However, you're against a Sona, and she is probably one of these, actually she is, I guess, the squishiest support in the game. She has 27 armor at the moment without her W, giving her that extra armor magic resist. So if they do land one combo on her, they should be able to chunk her down quite easily.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting matchup. I mean, LGIM, as you said, I wonder how they've travelled from Korea, and not in terms of how they travel. I'm sure they took an aeroplane like everyone else would, but what kind of state they're in after that, because it's a long journey. It's not something that you can take for granted in a tournament at this level.
Yeah, very true. I mean, we flew 11 hours, and we were pretty tired the day we got in. Luckily, they came in a couple days earlier so they could rest and prepare for this. But Joe, let me change topics real quick. Aurelia, when we saw her picked, we looked at each other and we're like, Aurelia?
Yeah. Well, as Freak said, probably going to be able to deal with this Rumble a bit better in the top lane. We've not been seeing too much Aurelia, though, and that's, from some of the top Aurelia players. Wicked is one that really comes to mind in terms of his outspokenness there, in terms of the Aurelia. It looks like we actually are going to be seeing LGIM pushing the bottom lane into the top, so this switch is going to come around.
And we're going to see a switch in the mid lane as well. We're going to see Karthus versus Rumble in that bottom lane. Karthus was sent lane without that blue buff, unfortunately for him, but does have that Christian Foss to sustain. And Aurelia, I mean, she's kind of one of those champions where you don't really need a lot of farm early on, but you need the farm somewhere just to kind of get your items up. We should expect to see that Warmog Sunfire Cape build out of her. But mid lane, Joe, Urgot Zyra versus Jace. Haven't really seen this combo ever, I have to say. But Jace said there were 25 armor, expected to go against an AP. Obviously not going to be rooting for that armor, going to be getting some mana regen. Should have a tough time.
Question is, though, Jason, who does this whole switch benefit more here? As we are going to see Overpower come into the jungle. Ring and Lasher are both there, as we do see the root landing. Ring could actually be in a lot of trouble here, but we do see Mid King coming around as well. Ring will go down. First blood coming out for Arkwell. He dies then to Jace. Afterwards, Ring is going to fall as well. Not Ring, Lasher, sorry, at the end there. The root actually landing here onto Mid King, and the Mumu's not finished. Paragon having to flash away. Celeber chasing in. He doesn't really have any mana left. Will get knocked back there. And Paragon surviving that by just one leg waste. Crazy start.
Yeah, what a very insane, crazy start. Great play by Overpower right there. I mean, he saw it Ring there. He had his team come back from that mid lane to give him the damage that he needed. They had the exhaust popped on, so he couldn't escape. Picking up that first blood and getting that early game advantage with the 2 kills to 1. Such a great job out of Anexis.
Yeah, really, really solid play. The dream start for them. I think if Anexis were going to win this game, they probably knew that they had to get off to a flying start, and that's certainly what they've done here. First Blood, of course, went over to... wow, I'm saying that, and now I can't even remember.
Went over to Arquel, the Urgot.
Yeah, went to Arquel. Then we saw a kill for Karthus, and then there's a kill back for Jace. So, now with that in mind, Jason, who's got the most comfortable start from this one in terms of the lane swaps that we've had going on as well?
I have to really say Anexis in that mid lane. I mean, Arquel was able to go back and completely buy that Tear of Goddess, which gives him just that extra sustain in lane in terms of damage to really harass Mid King. But in retrospect, Mid King 15 CS to the 10 currently of Arquel. He's staying range. He has the ability to farm with that range with his QE combo. So he's definitely not really hurting at all. Though in the bottom lane, Karthus, he used pretty much all of his well, he did use all of his summoners right there, and he should actually have a hard time against Rumble in the bottom lane if Rumble lands that one slow onto him. Obviously, Wall of Pain will be able to help out a little bit, but Lilac, pretty damn good Rumble player.
You can see that Arquel and Grom, who obviously is named Matty in this one, the stand-in. No Erotic, sadly enough, this time around in the support role.
I bet Demon's a little sad after not being able to cast that.
Exactly. But we've got this AD carry and support lane coming out to the top, so they're going to be evenly matched up there. We can see that Misfortune already has an early lead in terms of the creep score, but Arquel should be able to put down some good damage with that EQ combo coming out of Urgot.
Yeah, very true, especially when we're talking about earlier how Squishy, Misfortune, and Sona are great actually played by them to lane switch, knowing that they couldn't really deny Jace that much. Aurelia's been going up against him, which she doesn't have too tough of a time, and obviously she can be harassed from range, but she ended up going for Doran's Blade for some extra sustain. But as long as she can stick to Mid King, she can't actually beat him in a fight.
Well, right now we've got Ring coming through the lane. Oh, that's a great flash away from Grom, but will Arquel be able to get away the same here? He's not got a flash available. There's no Ignite down there as well. There's the plants coming, but it's not going to be enough, surely. Arquel only needed one more hit. Oh, and they managed to get away. The clutch root coming out of Grom will actually save Arquel there in one more auto attack from any of the LGIM players.
And that completely just came off of cooldown when he landed that, but now actually Grom going to have a tough time here. 1v3, he's actually going to have to ditch this turret, and LGM should be able to pick up the first turret of the game. We do have in the bottom lane, though, a Mumu overpowered trying to go in for a gank onto Lilac, who has his flash and his Ignite available, so I don't really think he's going to be too successful down there.
Yeah, and we've seen it before, that, okay, you don't get a kill, but if you force him away from the turret, that turret's going to be going down, and kills certainly aren't the prime thing to be aiming for here in League of Legends, certainly at this level, as we are going to see LG now, or LGIM now push down this first turret of the game, the outer turret in that top lane, as Overpower did come for a bit of a sniff down bottom, but Lilac already having that ward in position, won't be caught out by that one.
Yeah, we do have Overpower coming back yet again. He's really committing a lot of time to this bottom lane, which is going to hurt him in the long run. He needs that level 6 to just be so devastating in these lane ganks, or ganks at all, even in team fights, obviously. And mixed in with the Zyra combo of knocking them all up twice.
Whoa, Lilac's going straight in there. Wow, that was really fast kill as well. We caught it on screen. Brilliant stuff coming out of Lilac. Actually flashed straight in. Ultimate came down on top of him, and there was nothing that Celiva could do about that one.
Yeah, unfortunately for Karthus, didn't have that ultimate available since he wasn't level 6 to try to potentially get that kill back. But yeah, great play by him, knowing that Karthus still had no flash available when he used it in that middle lane for the fight. But now it looks like he's going to be heading towards that top lane, and the AD carry and support going down towards the bottom.
Yeah, Misfortune and Sona headed down here for Incredible Miracle. Let's see what they can pull off. Let's see if they can have this tower away. I mean, it's going to be a while until anyone goes for that one, as Ring is actually taking a peek here over towards that blue buff. Oh, Overpower's lucky there. He actually smited it falsely and didn't quite get the kill with the smite. Here comes Celiva, though. That's surely going to force Ring to back away. Celiva not looking like he wants to get too involved with it, though. And we will see Ring staying safe. But if you'd have queued literally a half second earlier, you probably would have been able to take down that blue buff with the Q.
And Joe, notice how many wards currently LGIM is sitting on. They have 3 members of their team sitting on, well, it was more originally. They had 2 wards each. They're going to be going for this dragon off of that, knowing that they had to make Overpower back. And in the meantime, we have the top lane for Anexis trying to push into that turret, but they're not really going to get too much damage on it. And as you see right there, first dragon of the game going over to LGIM and have a very strong lead right off the bat.
Yeah, 11.4 to 9.7 thousand gold. That's already a considerable amount. I mean, we're only 8 minutes into this one. As you said, first dragon going down. Look at the ward coverage as well. That's the vision that LGIM currently have over the minimap. On the other side, there's like 2 wards down. Actually, that's 3, so Joe can't count. We all knew that anyway. For Anexis. So in terms of vision, LGIM got a real strong lead on this one.
And as we know, wards do win games, Joe. But Misfortune currently building towards that Brutalizer, going to help out quite a bit in damage just overall, especially against a squishy Karthus. If they do actually stay in these lanes, which is a little bit, well, it's not really surprising since Rumble obviously can now easily destroy Karthus, even though he has that flash teleport back up. But still, it's really going to hurt Anexis in the long run. Karthus needs that farm. He's only sitting at 37 to his counterpart in the mid lane, 65. And as we know, I mean, Froggen, 23 minutes in, had over 300 CS. That's the kind of Karthus you're going to need here with that ultimate doing the damage.
Well, sadly for every other team out there, not everyone's got a Froggen.
I thought you were trying to make a pun there.
No, it's just actual fact, you know. I'm sure every team would love to have a Froggen replica in their team as well, although I guess you could say that most of these guys that are playing on this level can put that kind of performance out there as well. Well, let's take a quick look at the overall picture once again. 1-0 in turrets, 2-2 still in kills, but that 2,000 gold lead from that one turret kill and the Dragon is making a big difference in this early stages. We are going to see Mid King go in there on towards Zazas, has to back away, and that will be nothing, but LGIM are pushing this bottom lane.
Yeah, we do have a Moo level 6 now, trying to go in for a gank here. Does let it bench us on the last minion.
Yeah, there's a great crescendo coming across. Overpower will put the ultimate down, but he could be in a lot of trouble. He's forced to flash away. Celiver is low as well, but Incredible Miracle decide, no, we can't push this one through just yet. Jace is coming from the side, but he's not going to be able to get any kills, but they will be quite happy on this next wave to take a second turret.
Yeah, having 4 members down there. Actually, he does back away instead, knowing that the 3 members can't take that down. Going to have to keep Aurelia away from farming, and still just sitting on that Doran's Blade, has 1,500 gold to spend if she wants to, so I'm looking at a Giant's Belt being built and eventually a War Mods coming out of him to really be extremely tanky. He is being spotted by a Warder now as he backs, but I don't think they're able to do anything about it. Looks like Mickey actually going to try to go for an interrupt.
Oh, he's managed to get it there as well, Mid King, as he is going to push in. Is he going to try and track down the kill? He's got plenty of mana, got that blue buff as well, which is going to give him a nice advantage. Actually, Zaz is forced to flash away, and that's a win-win scenario for Mid King.
Yeah, very true. In the meantime, Top was trying to push very hard. As you see, Rumble is just fending them off. 1v2 right now. He has that 1 kill in his pocket, has Sword Boots and a Ruby Crystal towards the Haunting guys, even a Cloth Armor to defend against this Urgot. So he's doing an extraordinary job. We need to see Anexis take a turret here very soon, and if they don't, they're going to fall so far behind that there's no way they can win these team fights.
Yep, and we can start to see those Giants belts slowly creeping in onto both lineups. Both Rumble, sorry, that's a light. Lee Sin has one, and also Irelia, 2 Brutalizers over with LGIM as well. That tier obviously was built up very early on by Urgot. I'm going to switch over to middle here because we are seeing that pressure being switched down towards that final outer tower now as Rumble is going to go in there. He is going to be dead from that one. And, well, Arkwell going very, very low does actually manage to survive in the end. That's a nice little kill pick up there for them. But are they going to be able to defend this middle turret against 4? That's the real question now.
No. And I'll give you a real answer, Joe. No, there's absolutely nothing they can do about that turret. That will be the 3rd turret of the game. All the outer turrets being down now. And LJM, they're just playing so well. They seem so fluid in every direction they go. I mean, they move from bot lane together up to mid lane, and they're just playing perfect.
Well, that's kind of what we expected from the Korean team, right?
Yeah.
To come out here with a game plan, stick to it, and really bring things home. And that's one of the reasons that we touched on why the whole Curse of the Sad Bullet time seems to work so well for the Korean teams, that when everyone tries to replicate it, doesn't quite work out. And, you know, there are different reasons, I suppose, for that one. Teamwork, the coordination, the practice time that these guys have together is pretty much unrivaled around the world, at least for now.
Yeah. And hopefully in Season 3, where we see teams able to just sit there in a gaming house and practice together instead of having to worry about school, having to worry about work, should be able to catch up here very shortly. At least be able to raise the skill floor that we currently have. And Joe, looking at the teams for late game, you know, the kind of compositions, we have LJM with a very good team at chasing you down. You have that Rumble Ultimate to slow them. You have the Acceleration Gate to speed them up. You have Misfortune just naturally is super fast. So trying to go for a blue still here, so we'll get back into that in a second.
Well, blue is actually having to be smited away there for overpowers, and Crescendo comes down. They're going to go for this one. There goes the bullet time across them. Curse of the Sad Mummy comes down. Lasher may just fall here. It is Aurelia that goes on top of him. Will actually pick up. In fact, no, it was Grom that stole it in the end. Celiver now being chased down the queue from Ring. Not quite connecting. And that will be Anexis actually picking up that one. 1-0. They took their blue buff. Yes, it probably wasn't on the target that they wanted there with Karthus, but they've secured it and they got a kill.
And now LGM should be able to put some pressure on this middle turret. Urgot's going to be the only one to defend it, but against a team like this, there's nothing you can do about it when you have those 3 bruises in your face. And they should be able to at least take it down to half health, as we see Anexis trying to hurry back from the base. Not going to be able to do too much, though. And going back to the team fighting compositions on Anexis, they have a really interesting composition. You know, it's really AoE oriented, as we were here in the analysis desk talk about. Actually, So Carol's getting very, very close there to going for a switch. So they're really dependent on that Mumu letting the nice ultimate with the Zyra to combo it in, and then Karthus to be able to stand in the middle of them and let his AoE just do the damage. Unfortunately for him, doesn't have a lot of Aegis done yet, won't be as tanky as he needs to be to go up against this team, who they're really a mid-game kind of team, minus the Misfortune with the Jace with the Rumble.
Yeah, and so far, I mean, they've got almost a 2,000 gold lead, 3-0 in turrets. And we use this word too much, the whole well-oiled machine of the Korean team. I say we, I mean me, obviously. And the whole, the way that they just pick them apart, so calculated, so systematic. They just go from tower to tower to tower. Okay, it's time for Dragon. Okay, blue buffs up. And they just go about it in such a way that's so effective. You'd almost think they were German.
God. It's like chess, though, Joe, because they're thinking a step ahead. I mean, as you saw right there, they got the first dragon, they had the timer on it, they were waiting for it. We do have Engage coming out of Overpower, but it's not going to be good for Anexis.
Yeah, actually, Grom going very low. He's going to be the first victim of this one. His ultimate not really in the right position, and now Mid King going to dive right in there, and Anexis fall into pieces. But Karthus not done just yet. That ulti comes down. Doesn't quite pick up what he wanted. He got a 1 kill onto Lee Sin, but Overpower has been chased down by Mid King. He's going to switch stances and get the ace.
That was such a misplay of Anexis, though. They seem kind of desperate to make something happen. They don't really have the farm they need, the damage they need to do anything to LGM. As you see right now, I mean, Lilac, he's not extremely healthy, but the rest of his team relatively is. We did see, obviously, Ring go down. They got the dragon off of that. They're going to go take this turret, and the goal lead is just getting so far ahead at this point in the game. Only 15 minutes, but the lead being up to 5,000, and it's going to be even more than that right now. It's just impossible to come back from, unless, I guess there's CLG EU, or now known as EG.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, it's always a difficult one, and I'm sure they can admit themselves that that will only happen at that kind of level once in every blue moon. But right now, as you can see, they're all headed back here. Plenty of gold to be spent. 1,800 on Misfortune, 1,700 almost on Rumble, who will actually pick himself up that Haunting. Guys, you can see that Jace and Misfortune pretty much copying each other's builds here. Got the 2 BF Swords, the 2 Brutalizers, the 2 Vamp Scepters, Tia for Jace, and that Doran's Blade for Misfortune. And you compare that over to the other side, well, you can't. That's the point.
Yeah, and we see those Black Cleavers done if they want to go for that first, which obviously it looks like they are going to be going for. It's just going to make them so much stronger. Like those, little items completed, and if you want to fight around those, makes these team fights even go heavier in your direction. So Anexis, they're kind of forced to go tanky right now, but they also need the damage. They don't have the money to spend. That's the problem. We do have Aurelia, still has, well, 2/3 of that Warmog's armor done, and not enough gold to actually complete that. But she's pretty much the tank. As you see right now, Overpower, he doesn't have any health. I mean, he doesn't have any resistance. He has 900 armor, yes, but 1,400 health isn't going to save him at all when you have 2 Brutalizers and potentially Black Cleavers coming. But we do have the Bloodthirster done for Mid King.
Yep, health still is the king here. And those...
Aha, I see what you did.
I didn't... What?
You said health is the king. Mid King. All right.
Okay. So, yeah, Giants belts with Rumble and with Lee Sin. Oh, Jason. Oh, Jason.
Make it so easy.
Well, there wasn't even a pun there. You just made it up. That's how terrible your puns are, because you think that was a good one or something. I don't know. But LGIM here pushing that mid lane, and you can see the damage that Jace does. He's just ripping them to pieces from such range that they just can't really keep up with him. You see their max range onto Arkwell, and now they just force their way through as Rumble heats up the wall there. And they're going to keep pushing.
Mid King is not missing any of his abilities right now. He keeps hitting them one after one. He actually connected with 3 consecutively. Got Arkwell very low, got Grom very low, and they're forced to back away and heal. And this mid turret, Joe, this isn't going to last long at all. We do have all of them ready, all ultimates up. And if this first tower goes down and the inhibitor right after, there's no way Nexus can come back from it.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, as you just said, that Mid King actually missed his first one that I've pretty much seen him miss the entire game. And as we say that as well, LGIM see, oh look, we've got minions in that top lane. Let's head up there. Let's take out that almost final inner turret. They still have one down in that bottom lane. But again, just such effective destruction here by LGIM.
And unfortunately for Nexus, they have that Urgot who just didn't get a foothold into the game. He didn't get the items he really needed. He wasn't able to punish an AD carry support lane. And because of that, he's just going to be basically useless. He does have 2 kills, but I mean, the items, if you compare him to his counterpart, if a BF Sword, a Brutalizer, and Misfortune sitting on 1,000 gold to back with, just nothing he can do. He cannot compete in damage in any way.
So what's the next target here? for LGIM. Bottom lane is actually fairly far pushed out. We can see Rumble in this top lane just pushing it against the inhibitor turret on that top lane. Buff's going to be stolen away here from the jungle as we are seeing Silver come out, which is kind of ballsy in my opinion to be that far out. You don't really know when that Jace is just going to come flashing over the top of the wall and pounce on you and destroy you. But either way, let's have a look at the gold. Everyone's up in the thousands here pretty much to spend, and that just makes it even more painful next time around as Anexis actually working their way over towards the Baron pit. And
take a look at Vision right now, Joe, for LGIM. They just have so much warded up that there's nothing Anexis can do. They can't leave their base without being spotted right now. Obviously, you know, the bottom side they can, but they can't farm their own jungle creep, and that's what Overpower was trying to do. He's only able to pick up the wolves, wasn't able to get his own blue. They're going to fall behind in levels because LGIM is just suffocating them in terms of gold and the experience.
Yep, it's 6,600 gold, that lead currently. 5-0 in turrets, and while we've got a bit of a lull, look at that, full HP, taking about 2 hits, and that one's not much better either. Like, this is just an absolute, I mean, 7-5 in kills, that tells like a completely different story to what's actually going on.
Yeah, I mean, that's objectives. 5 turrets to 0, we had 2 dragons to 0, and that really just stacks up to be so much gold, and it really snowballs against you as landing another one yet again. And look at that, I mean, that was a third health practically from one combo. And he has blue buff consistently, so he gets the combos off even quicker with that cooldown reduction, and hits another one right there.
Third HP from Grom. Yeah. And that's the danger that they've got with that blue buff constantly. If you know, the last 2 that they've had, and he just keeps going with that one. This bottom lane has finally been pushed up by Lee Sin. In the meantime, all the other lanes being farmed out and pushed through. LGIM really are, I think, preparing here for a final push.
Why not? I mean, they have an 8,000 gold. There's no reason for them to not do this. They can easily dive into these turrets. They are tanking up to do it. Lee Sin has his Warmogs almost complete. I believe he's actually about to complete it when he does go back. Dragon up again. I see right there. I mean, the Q came out of Lee Sin right as it spawned. Yeah, they have the exact time on it. And there's nothing Anexis can do about it. Even if they were trying to contest it, they would lose the fight. And now the third dragon of the game going over to them.
Yeah. But we know from Intel Extreme Masters the rule when you go to a tiebreaker, we call it a time breaker. You have to win games fast and lose games slow to have the best possible times there, which means even if Anexis think or even know that this game is not going their way, they need to drag it out for as long as possible.
Yeah, very true. And they kind of have the ability to do that with the Zyra, with the Karthus. As long as Karthus has the mana to do it, they easily will be able to clear out the waves. The problem is, if they keep getting poked, if they can't dodge it, which is relatively hard to do with 140, 160 ping when they're used to pretty much 0 when they play in offline events, you're going to get engaged upon and you're not going to be able to lose slow like you want to.
You can see the poke there coming out from all angles. Jace ripping Selva down to only 2/3 of his HP remaining. Arkwell suffers the same fate from that one as well. And they are just pushing. And, you know, they can just keep soaking these waves up, but at the end of the day, Anexis are going to run out of health soon.
Yeah, especially with all this poke. See right there yet again. Just constantly hitting, just constantly hammering away. This is the first time I think I've seen Mid King without a blue buff. Well, after the first one, obviously. But still, that poke, that acceleration gate out of Jace is just so devastating because even minus the poke he's doing, they have that really easy engage with that speed.
It's not even got vision there. That's the crazy thing as well.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel, Joe. Pretty easy to do when they're all grouped up around that tower.
Yeah, but even when they were like backed away to this point, he was still here. We are going to see them going in. Rumble ultimate does go down. There is the bullet time, not super effective, but look how low Overpower got with that one, and that will be enough to force them away and get the objectives that they were looking for. That inner turret, the final inner turret left here on Summoner's Rift, and LGIM, they could well push through for more.
Yeah, I want to say they have to be a little careful here because we do have a Nexus with all their ultimates up to really kind of get a nice engage. They do back away smart enough. But then again, LGM's so far ahead. Look at how much gold they're going to be spending. Yeah, everyone has over 1,000 gold to spend. We're going to see so many items completed. Warmogs, out the wall has, well, not at least one Warmog, but a rather swift scepter done for a Lilac. And the Shurelya's as well. So, I mean, if they weren't able to engage easy enough as it was with the Shurelya's acceleration gate, there's nothing a Nexus can do. And I hate to keep saying it, but it's just pretty much at that point. I think everyone can see it, and even a Nexus can. Yeah,
and if we look at the difference, Rumble to Irelia, 7,400 to 4,700 gold. The AD carries 7,400 to 5,800. Like, it's a massive, massive difference here. And, well, it will take some kind of superbly amazing throw by LGIM to give this game up.
It might even take an incredible miracle, Joe.
Oh, God.
I'm proud of myself on that one, actually. Anyways, though, we do have Baron up, obviously, to be taken, but as LJM, what's the point in trying to go for Baron when we already have this kind of lead? We do have Anexis trying to be aggressive here, trying to catch someone off guard, but look at Rumble with the Riley's Crystal Scepter. There's nothing they can do in terms of catching up to him. We do have the switch, though.
We are going to have that switch coming in there. Lilac just going to walk away from that one, throws his own ultimate down. Overpower is being shredded before he can really get that Curse of the Sad Money off. They're moving in there. Now LGIM really reacting. The crescendo goes down. They kick Karthus out of the way, and they still manage to pick up the kills. Karthus ulti finally going to come in. Bullet time over the wall, not quite enough. Double kill for Sona. Wow, pretty Gosu Pepper stuff right there. And that will be a 3-for-1 again. And that fight started off as a 5 versus 3, I think.
Yeah, it was a 3v5 where LJM kind of got caught right there, but it didn't even matter. Lilac took so much damage from Anexis because of that Riley Scepter, because he's so far ahead in level, sitting at level 13 right now, ahead of everyone currently on Anexis. They're just going to win. I mean, they have that ability to. They have the damage, they have the tankiness that you're going to need in these fights, and they're just showing what they can do with it.
Still no Baron being taken. Don't really need Baron to be taken.
No point in getting it stolen away and giving the other team a chance.
And you can see wards coming up all over the place. Incredible Miracle looking to take down even more buffs. You can see there another 1,000 gold on Jace. There was over 1,000 gold on Sona, who's just picked up that Oracle, so that may be a sign that they do in fact want to have this Baron on them before they go in.
Well, the thing is, we saw in day one, actually, well, yesterday, we saw Pain versus Nex Impetus, and we saw the Baron actually get stolen away. Pain took it on their Amumu, and they ended up winning the game because of that extra gold, able to hold on. They obviously do have that vision. They are going to force someone, or actually a lot of people at Nexus, to come out and kind of, stop it. But the thing is, if they come out of their base with how many wards they currently have down and how many more they can put down, they're not going to be able to win these fights. Like, they need that. They need the surprise factor to win these fights, and even with that, that's still going to be a tough time.
Is there a chance, Jason?
No. I hate to say it, but it's, I mean, everyone can see it right now. It's clear as day. 11,000 gold lead currently, and LGIM is just, they're ramping up for the win, as you can tell. They got a lot of damage onto that mid turret. Actually took it down, sorry, and had that inhibitor open. They can take that at any moment they want to, and their items just keep getting stronger and stronger. And you look over to the Nexus side, not very many things completed over the past 10 minutes.
Not got the things. I mean, look at Aurelia, Warbox and Endurance Blade.
That's it. Yeah, and 600 gold in her pocket.
Really not bringing up the goods, as we are going to see LGIM back away towards the Baron, and they are going to have this one for free as well.
And Joe, we got Crescendo up. We have flashes up on 2 of the carries for Misfortune and Jace. Nexus obviously not going to do anything about it, though, as you see that Baron dropping down to half health, and Nexus just, I don't know if they know what's going on, but they can obviously assume it, but there's nothing they can do about it. And they're just trying to lose so, like you're saying, Joe.
Yeah, here we go, through that acceleration gate. Are we going to see that final push coming in? I mean, bottom and top lanes are all nicely pushed through. This middle lane has that naked inhibitor in it. Sona here going to be helping to clear out those wards as they go. And actually, Lee Sin was even further pushed up there. Was already just outside that inhibitor itself, as the root will actually miss that.
Oh, there's the first miss that I've actually seen out of the Shock Blast. But anyways, yeah, I mean, Ring was pushed up because he's not afraid. He's so mobile with Lee Sin, he's so tanky at the moment. They get the first inhibitor. It looks like they're just going to do a systematic win. Just, go to the top lane now, force that mid lane to push up against it, force someone to back away to defend it, take that top tier down, then the inhibitor, and maybe even swing down to the bottom, depending if they have a team fight.
And again, we see Lilac here just getting ready to make some kind of move there. He's hurting a lot. I mean, he is doing a lot of damage to that Crystal Scepter, that Haunting, guys. And they are now going to try and take down that inhibitor turret. And Nexus got decent clear as well, but I don't think decent enough to hold them off over any kind of extended period.
Especially with Baron. I mean, they can just heal back up. Any poke does get taken. But look for the Rumble ultimate to actually engage this fight right here with the Crescendo, with the acceleration gate, with the Shurelys popped, and then the Crescendo following up, because that will be pretty much the game if you see that happen.
Turret not taking too much of a beating just yet. But you can see Ring just off to the side. He'll happily tank a turret hit here, turret hit there, and then go straight back in.
Well, Super Mutants have finally pushed up to this mid lane, so Ring is just roaming around. They should easily have this top turret now, as there's 2 members sent back, Karthus and Amumu. And it's right there, the damage. Arclo have to be forced to actually go heal, and that turret is a goner.
Yep, and there we go. Rumble ulti coming in. A lot of damage coming down. And Mumu's ultimate only really catching Lasher. That may be enough for the crescendo. The ultimate coming out of Zyra wasn't enough either. That is going to be inhibitor number 2 going down. And to be frank, they could probably just push for the win here.
Yeah, I mean, any damage they did just take is getting healed up, as you see. Even Arakel's trying to chase them away, but Jace, in the middle of that fight, actually finishes Mirror Mana, so he wasn't hurting enough as it was. He's going to be hurting, obviously, that much more. Dragon is up, and
Seriously,
they're
going back for a Dragon?
Which seems a little unnecessary, but, you know, if you want to secure a win, I guess that's the way to do it. But then again, like you're saying, they're against time. Yeah, well, not against time just yet, but they have the potential to be against time if we do have that tiebreaker.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone... I wonder if they read the rulebook that they all get when they arrive at Intel Extreme Masters. Because that has proved to be very, very important for a lot of teams in the past. Look how much they're going to spend here. What do we see? Last Whisper, Locket of the Iron Solari, and Last Whisper. What else? Where's the rest of them going home? There's another Last Whisper coming in.
Leandra's Torment.
Leandra's Torment.
Aegis of the Legion.
Pots, Swords, Aegis. Yeah. Oracles. Yeah. This should be just a matter of time. But as you said, it's important for Anexis to hold on like this.
Yeah. They need to definitely lose slow, because you never know what happens. I mean, Gambit Gaming got through day 1 in Intel Extreme Masters Katowice based off 60 seconds. And that, you know, could have been the difference between them not winning the tournament and seeing, you know, a Zublu maybe win it. Even in Singapore, you know, Michi Makers had the trouble of that. They had to go through that tiebreaker. Fortunately for them, they actually got through it and ended up winning the tournament as well. So that's 2 Intel Extreme Master events where it was decided at the time, the tiebreaker, who would win the entire event.
And they are going full-on tutorial style here. Going to go for that 3rd and final inhibitor. And then pushing through for the win. They've got 2 Oracle Elixirs on them. Ring just pushing that mid lane back up there. The minions coming in. Again, the poke coming down. And this turret is not going to last any length of time. Roots come in as well. And that will be the final turret outside of the Nexus taken down. Final inhibitor going to be going with it as well. And now LGIM going to be looking to close out this game.
And they're still yet playing very systematically. I mean, 3 inhibitors taken down when you're already this far ahead doesn't seem necessary. But still, I can't really complain about what they're doing, as we do see Lila getting caught, but it doesn't really matter. He's taking no damage as Baron Buff finally does wear away, even though for some reason on my screen, yeah, on your screen too, you see Misfortune still having it.
I see they've all still got it.
Not on their buff bar, Joe. But we do see it engage.
Well, engage, yeah, going to come in. Rumble actually putting his down. Karthus ultimate is going to do pretty much nothing to LGIM in that one. Karthus obviously dying there very quickly. That's the first Nexus turret going down. Grom has to back away. He might actually die. In fact, he gets over with a flash on towards the fountain. Arquel going to be the next target. He's been shredded down by Rumble. Zazas is there. Grom is there, but it's just a matter of time here. They're hammering away on that second Nexus turret. Overpower trying to protect it. In fact, he's doing a half-decent job, but it's just not going to be enough as Jay slams the hammer down. And that is going to be LGIM picking up their first victory here at the Intel Extreme Masters Brazil in Group B.
And what a way to start off the day for them with a very one-sided victory. And on the opposite side of that coin, Nexus getting just absolutely destroyed in that game. They have to be able to at least shrug that off for the next one, because they still have